In 2024, while hiking in the Blue Mountains with a friend, we happened to come across some old bottles that were sticking out of the ground. So we decided to dig them up, and of course, I cut my finger on one of the broken ones. We dug up three intact bottles that day, two of these bottles belonging to a company named Bronger Brothers. The first bottle we managed to dig up, we later found out was a clay ginger beer bottle, and the second, a green glass bottle named a cod that had a marble stuck in its neck. We had never heard of Bronger Brothers or had any knowledge about bottles at all, as we are not collectors. Since that time, I've been wondering what was the history attached to these bottles and who were the Bronger Brothers. In 1881, Richard, his brother Edward, and mother Annie Bronger arrived in Sydney Cove aboard the John Elder as third class passengers from England. It was a life changing decision due to the head of the family, Richard Charles Bronger, father of Richard and Edward, and husband to Annie, being lost at sea in 1880 aboard the smack called Mystery, and he was one of six crew members who lost their lives in the treacherous waters of the English Channel. The family moved to Warren in country New South Wales, where Edward gained employment with a soda making company. In 1885, they moved to Penrith, and by 1888, Richard had opened a store selling confectionery and fruit. His advertisement in the Nepean Times from the 1st of December 1888 reads, Richard Bronger begs to announce that he has opened those centrally situated premises next to Judge's Brothers Bank stores, where he has opened a select stock of confectionery, fruit, summer drinks at lowest prices. Cleanliness, civility, low prices, and goods of best quality, leading features. The first account I've been able to find about the Bronger brothers making their own cordial and aerated water is from an article in the Nepean Times from the 6th of September 1890, and it reads, Nepean Cordial and Aerated Water Factory, Bronger Brothers, beg to announce to the inhabitants of Penrith and surrounding districts that they have started business in Belmore Street, Penrith, and hope, by strict attention to business, combined with supplying a first-class article, to merit a fair share of public patronage. Their factory is replete with all modern improvements, and as nothing but the best ingredients will be used, customers may rely upon every article being of the very best quality. Aerated waters, lemonade, ginger ale, orange champagne, mountain dew, soda and tonic water, ginger beer and hop beer. Cordials, peppermint, cloves, raspberry, lime juice cordial, ginger wine, lemon syrup, orange bitters, sarsaparilla, hop bitters, quinine still champagne. It wasn't until April of 1893 that the Bronger brothers registered their trademark. Here are the details in the Government Gazette of 1893. It is hereby notified that Edward William Bronger and Richard John Bronger, trading as Bronger Brothers of Belmore Street, Penrith, in the colony of New South Wales, manufacturers of cordials and aerated waters, have, in pursuance of the 4th section of the Trademarks Act, applied to register a trademark of the following description. The representation of two clasped hands with the name Bronger Brothers above and Penrith beneath, the words trade and mark being printed on either side of the said hands, copies of which may be seen at this office, and which trademark is intended by the said Bronger Brothers to be blown on the bottles containing aerated waters and to be printed on labels to be affixed to the said bottles and on cases containing said bottles. An advertisement from the 16th of September 1893 reads, Volcanic aerated waters. Messrs. Bronger Brothers of Belmore Street will have a complete plant fixed for the manufacture of aerated waters from pure carbonic acid gas on Monday, and invite all those interested in the manufacture and sale of the article to inspect and taste any day next week. In November of 1893, Richard Bronger sold his confectionery and fruit store to M. Voice. M. Voice advertised this article on Saturday the 4th of November 1893. Having purchased the fruit, confectionery and summer drink establishment so long carried on by Mr. R. Bronger, High Street, Penrith, hopes of paying strict attention to business and keeping only best articles combined with cleanliness and civility to merit a fair share of patronage. These two sayings that Bronger Brothers use to advertise their articles are absolute classics and my personal favourites. A drunken man fell asleep beneath a shaded tree when a man passing near gave him a bottle of Bronger Brothers pure soda water, which made him as right as could be. If you want to get stronger and to live longer, why, You ought to drink Bronger Brothers hot beer. In January of 1895, a new drink, Messrs. Bronger Brothers, has left us with a new drink just introduced by them, WG. The new guzzle is real good, and we would advise our cricketers to lay in a stock, especially as this is the exact stuff Dr. W.G. Grace always primes himself with prior to making big scores. Ask your publican or aerated water vendors for it. That same year, Richard moved to Katoomba with his wife Mina, where they set up a second branch, and it didn't take long for them to advertise it. In the Nepean Times on the 21st of December 1895 reads, Bronger Brothers Superior Cordials and Aerated Waters for Christmas. This firm has now a branch factory at Katoomba, and their stuff is generally admired. The quality is all right, and the various kinds may be had from all the different hotels and shops. You can't do better than lay in a stock for Christmas. On Wednesday, the 11th of March, 1896, Richard had to front the Katoomba Police Court. The Mountaineer, March the 13th, 1896. Katoomba Police Court, Wednesday, March 11th, before Messrs. J.K. Cleve, PM, F.C. Goyder, and D. McKillop, JPs. Cattle stealing. Richard Bronger was summoned by the Inspector of Nuisances for allowing a horse to stray in Park Street and was fined 1 shilling with 5 shillings 6pence cost. On the 16th of February 1899, Richard Bronger was voted in as an alderman of Katoomba Council, and wasn't he a good-looking fella? From the Nepean Times on Saturday, May the 13th, 1899, Bronger Brothers and Coombs and O'Brien posted this article, and the article reads, Marbles are in. The season has again come round for marbles, and, as a result, Messrs. Bronger Brothers, and we suppose Messrs. Coombs and O'Brien as well, are sufferers. A large number of patent bottles, self-filling, with glass ball stoppers, are used by both firms. Youngsters getting hold of these bottles break them for the sake of getting the glass ball, which, in marble parlance, is called a bottle hoe. Considering these bottles cost 2.5 shillings each, the loss is great. So many bottles have been broken in Messrs. Bronger Brothers' yard lately that the firm are offering £2 reward for such information as will lead to the conviction of the party or parties breaking them. So youngsters, look out. The Katoomba Council elections of 1900 were a hotly contested one, with many of the candidates advertising what they will do for the locals if they voted for them. Mayor Goyder's chances of being re-elected was hurt by the loss of ratepayers' money, and in the Mountaineer, a part of the article reads, It is unfortunate that this matter could not have been finally settled under Mr. Goyder's mayorship, as the situation is not a pleasant one for the incoming mayor. Mr. Goyder said the loss of 6 or 7 guineas of the ratepayers' money through a blunder of his, though he mentioned the blunder was made by reason of trusting a brother alderman, was very regrettable. No doubt it is, but if we could be assured that this is the end of the matter, it would not amount to very much. After all the campaigning was over and the people had voted, Richard Bronger was elected mayor unanimously, but he was only to serve as mayor for 1 term. During 1901, the water supply wasn't the best, so Bronger Brothers imported a Burkefield large supply filter. The filter will get through 120 gallons an hour with the water pressure at 45 pounds to the square inch, and it filters completely. It is well known that the town supply, when cloudy, cannot be filtered thoroughly with the ordinary filter, but with the Burkefield, the water comes through bright, clear, and sparkling. During last summer, the firm were troubled a great deal with the water, and this caused them to import the latest and best filter. In 1903, Bronger Brothers posted an article in the Mountaineer on Friday the 9th of January to show the purity of the water used in making their drinks. A notice posted in the Mountaineer on the 1st of April 1904 reads, I hereby give notice that I have this day sold my business in Katoomba as aerated water and cordial manufacturers to E. Rowlands of Sydney and Katoomba. I respectively request a continuation of the same to my successor, R. J. Bronger, trading as Bronger Brothers. While in the process of selling their Katoomba factory to E. Rowlands, Bronger Brothers were selling their Katoomba stock in large quantities in a huge sale advertised in the Mountaineer. Richard Bronger became manager of E. Rowlands' Katoomba factory, but an accident involving an exploding bottle would end up with Richard losing his left eye when shards of glass lodged in his pupil. He was joined by his brother Edward in Penrith and rushed to St Vincent's Hospital. After living in Katoomba since 1895 and serving the community first as an alderman and then mayor, Richard and his family left Katoomba to live in Summerhill. In May of 1911, tenders were invited for the erection of a brick factory, Their business in Penrith was growing, so a bigger and updated building was needed. After an operation on his kidneys on the 14th of November 1912, Richard John Bronger passed away at the age of 46 on the 26th of November 1912. The funeral notice was posted in the Sydney Morning Herald on the 27th of November 1912. The relatives and friends of the late Mr. Richard John Bronger are kindly invited to attend his funeral, which will leave 53 Denison Road, Lewisham, this afternoon at 1:45 o'clock for the Church of England Cemetery, Rookwood, via Lewisham Station. During World War I, Richard's son Claude Herman Bronger enlisted in the army, where he joined the 3rd Battalion. He survived the war and lived a fruitful life, and he passed away at the age of 76 in July of 1970 at Janali. I'm now off to Rookwood Cemetery to find Richard John Bronger's final resting place.
So I'm out at Rookwood Cemetery, and this is the 3rd time because I haven't been able to find Richard John Bronger. But yesterday when I came here, which was the 2nd Saturday in a row looking for him, I didn't know that when you get onto the Rookwood Cemetery site and you get the map, if you zoom in, then all the grave numbers come up, and it's only when you zoom in it does. And so I'm back out again now, and I know exactly where it is, where this big palm tree is. So it's 5 rows from the start of quadruple A on the left, and it's the 12th grave on that 5th row in from this big palm tree here. So let's see how we go. Here's that big palm tree that I was looking for, and there's Elephant House in the distance. So 5th aisle to the left and the 12th grave to the right. And I probably did walk through here the other day and I was just looking too hard. And there he is. Wow. And finding those bottles last year to doing a story about them and finding exactly who made the bottles and who these people were. So I did Richard's story because I thought it was a bit more interesting than Edward's. And we'll just read the grave headstone here. Richard John Bronger, who died 26th of November 1912, aged 46 years, also my dear husband and our father. Harold William Bronger, who died 25th of November 1950, aged 58 years. And Mina Alexander is buried with him, beloved wife of the late Richard J. Bronger, who died 25th of February 1926, aged 57 years. So finally found him. It's taken a few goes to get here, and it's not easy to find some of these graves because it's really overgrown here. Some of these places, look at these ones, they're overgrown with trees. I should actually cut these trees down and look after them a bit better. But anyway, our story ends here. It's been a fantastic journey finding out the all the information about Richard Bronger and why they come out here to Australia after their father died in that terrible boating accident where all hands died on the ship. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this story, and I'm off now to go back home. And as I always say, always hiking thongs.